Hey everyone, this is the Chapter 6 Lord of the Rings quiz. Usually I do not show any sort of help videos for our quizzes, but this quiz is a little unique, a little different, and definitely a little more difficult. So I'm going to get you jump started on this quiz. So you follow along, you kind of get the idea of what we're going to do here. All right, so on the front page, you should have an A, B, and C and a graph. Okay, and this is the graph of Middle Earth, right? For Lord of the Rings, if anyone has seen the movie. On the backhand side, or movies, I should say, on the back side, you have two questions and another graph. So we're going to take these one step at a time. On the front, we have inequalities. As you can see here, 1, 2, 3, system of three inequalities, just like our most recent lesson. On the backhand side, though, we have equations. Remember the difference between those. We're going to plot them the same way, but equations, we don't have to shade anything for these equations. We're just going to look for where they cross. But when we talk about these inequalities, we're going to have to do some shading. All right, so it says solve the inequalities below and be sure to graph the solutions on the map. Well, if I look at these inequalities, the y's are all isolated already. We have our m values and our b values. So these look like they're good to go. So what I did was I have our three inequalities at the top here. We're going to do them in three colors, just like we did on the previous lesson. Green, blue, and red. Okay, so our green inequality, green, has an m value of 1/3 and a b value of +3. You're going to graph these the same as you always would. Go up to a +3 and plot that point. That's your y-intercept. We have our x-axis and our y-axis. Our slope tells me to go up 1 and to the right 3 from that point, and you're going to follow that pattern through the graph. The greater than symbol right here means we are going to use a a dashed line. And there it is. Now the last bit, remember these are inequalities, we're going to have to shade. So greater than means you are going to shade above this line. Now, I'm not going to show you the whole thing because then I would be doing the quiz for you. But that's one of three lines or three inequalities down. You have to follow that process for your blue inequality. And the same for the red inequality. Where all three shaded regions overlap, you are going to put that as your answer for B, the location of the ring. Give 3 points that could serve as the ring's location. Again, you're going to pull those out of your shaded region. Now on the back, we have two equations, so no longer are we going to do 3 lines on the back for D and E. We only have 2 equations. It says solve the system of equations below algebraically and graphically. Well, I see one equation is already good to go. This bottom one, the y is isolated, you have your m value, you have your b value, that should be no problem to graph that one. However, your top equation up here, your y is not isolated. So I gave you guys some room on the paper and you need to isolate that value of y. So currently we have 2y plus x equals 14. I need to get y alone. I'm going to subtract x on both sides. X's cancel. We have 2y equals -x plus 14. To get y alone, you need to divide by 2. 2's cancel. Y equals -1 over 2x, and 14 divided by 2 is 7. So you have your red equation, you have your blue equation, and you are going to graph those on the graph below on your page on the right on mine. At what point is the ring located? Well, that's the intersection point where these two lines cross each other. And remember, your intersection point is going to be an x comma y. So make sure you write that in that format, okay? All right, if you need any help, I can't really guide you through the quiz, but I may be